Hello, hello. My final paper's topic is expanding the meaning of building solidarity among Asians and Asian Americans. My introduction illustrates from the origin of Asian American as a social term, which was coined by Yuki Ichioka in 1968 during the founding of the Asian American Political Alliance, to the importance of valuing Asian Americans' lived experience in relation to examining power dynamic in the U.S. Also, I highlight most of the racial and Asian American racial models did not discuss the relation of racial identities of individuals who were not raised in America and their immigrant experience and multi-ethnic experience. So I argue here that Asian diasporas and Asian international people's lived experience should be actively and collectively included in Asian American racial ideology. My first theme is existing misconceptions about Asian Americans. The model minority stereotype coming hand in hand with forever foreigners, a stereotype attribute Asian Americans to the invisibility in many domains, and the ambiguous position in the image of American national identity. Model minority stereotype ignores the wide variation of Asian Americans among individuals, national origin groups, and socioeconomic backgrounds, and the exclusion of taking multifaceted racial, ethnical, social-economic elements into account leads to the misconception of Asian Americans becoming white. Also, throughout the U.S. history, Asian Americans were conceptualized by the dominant group to settle labor shortage and feuds with Black Americans. Also, at the same time, with giving Asian Americans more economic compliance and a social prestige, Asian Americans, foreigners, was strengthened for protecting whiteness from the social change demanded by Blacks. My second theme is racial ideology of Asian Americans and Asian diasporas. Traditional racial identity theories do not offer a perspective of Asian Americans' intertwined ethnic identities and their experience, but tell their stories from a binary of people of color and the conformity of whiteness. Moreover, with regards to Asian diasporas and Asian international peoples, Asian American racial models, including Kim's model, did not discuss the relation of racial ideology of individuals who were not raised in America and their immigrant experience and the multi-ethnic experience. In this manner, I argue here for the importance of recognizing racial experience of Asian Americans and especially Asian diasporas and Asian international people as an important part of American racial ideology, oppression, and power dynamic related to whiteness, not as a static body, but rather as being fluid, connecting to multifaceted social factors and responding to complex identities both in a personal and a public level. My third theme is building solidarity across the citizenship borderline. It is a profoundly crucial and strategic that Asian Americans and Asian American organization leaders include Asian green card holders, international workers, and international students against racism and xenophobia in many ways, as Asians are similarly racialized. Model minority is imposed on both Asian Americans and non-American Asian groups, and white and other non-Asian groups often mistake Asian American students as a group of foreign students. Consequently, many Asian American students suffer from the mistaken identity, hold negative attitudes towards Asian international students. This is more like in higher education setting. Thus, I argue the importance for Asian Americans and other Asian groups to be border crossers in examining power dynamic and addressing racism and xenophobia and any kind of subordinations in detail. Asian Americans need to understand the struggle and the fear that other Asian groups have and include their voices when fighting back discriminations and stereotypes. And the non-American Asians need to understand the unique triangular position that Asian Americans also suffer and build stronger cultural bonds across different nationalities and different citizenships. So my conclusion is, the process of racial formation is vital because it helps Asian Americans understand their unique history, culture, and intricate relations with others in society in a critical way. Fighting against the racism and xenophobia is a journey that all Asians need to face, as all Asians are similarly racialized. Therefore, recognizing only Asian Americans who were born and raised here is not enough. and including non-American Asians' lived experience and voices is beyond meaningful for addressing subordinations from a common ground and building solidarity across citizenships, nationalities, and human differences. Andrew Lord said, "We must recognize that difference is a reason for celebration and growth, rather than a reason for distraction." Thank you.